All right, everyone, we have more breaking news. Tim Walz, the failed running mate of Kamala Harris, one of the most cringy political candidates in all of history, officially endorsed David Hogg to be the vice chair of the DNC. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it. I expected it was a joke. This has happened a lot lately, you'll notice. This is a terrible idea, and it's more of the same symptomology behind why the Democratic Party can't win. And if he actually gets through, presumptively will continue not winning. David Hogg is completely unqualified to be the vice chair of the DNC. His qualification is, hey, survived a school shooting. That's quite literally it. And happened to then brand himself as an activist thereafter. And he's not particularly well spoken. He's not particularly personable, which is probably why he's a Democrat. Um, this makes no sense. And by the way, the endorsement of Tim Walz, okay, you were the running mate of one of the most failed presidential candidates in history, will be remembered as one of the most cringy running mates in U.S. history. I'm not sure that his endorsement matters so much. The DNC will probably try to bounce him, actually. This sort of represents probably the influx of like the far leftoids, and both of them are far leftoids, by the way, with like the Geek Squad and stuff like that. They're on their way out for the most part, and Hogg probably won't get the role. I'm assuming that the neoliberals will talk block him, which is probably the right thing to do strategically. But then keep in mind from David Hogg's perspective the situation. You win either way. Technically speaking, he's being kind of shrewd. Again, he's definitely not a Republican. If you get the role, well, god damn, you're the vice chair of the DNC. That's a pretty prestigious role now, isn't it, considering the amount of billions of dollars they bundle in illegal campaign cash in any given year, through the DCCC, of course, overseen in part by the DNC. Well, that's a prestigious role. Let's say that you don't get it. Well, your activistic career is basically shitposting on Twitter at this point. This allows you to complain about the Democratic Party. You can pull a Cenk Uygur. He's been doing this over the last few weeks. In the wake of the election, well, I'm trying to tell you fucking Donald Trump was going to win. I fucking told the Democrats they need to embrace, Bernie Sanders' values in order to win, supposedly. So technically, from Hogg's standpoint, it's a win-win. It literally doesn't matter if he gets the DNC vice chair. It doesn't matter to him whatsoever. He can either grandstand, he'll make lots of money doing that. He's basically like a megachurch pastor without religion, or he's the DNC vice chair. So it's actually kind of shrewd when you think about it for him to throw in and try to do this. By getting Walz endorsement, because he does at least have name recognition, it's not for the right reasons, of course. He's mainly known for being the ultimate cringe politician, probably in politics at the moment. And that's going some. There are some real wackadoodles in gubernatorial houses, governor's mansions, and the House and Senate and places like that. Had some wackadoodles in the White House recently, too. One of them for the next 10 days is still there, by the way. But by getting that endorsement, full-throated endorsement, by the way, I'll read it verbatim in a second, link in the description, you can read it for yourself. He ensures that he wins regardless of what happens. Here's what Tim Walz said earlier. David Hogg represents exactly the kind of bold, dynamic, and courageous leadership our party needs right now. He has a unique ability to connect with the American people and to speak to the strengths of our party. I couldn't be happier to support him for DNC vice chair. Again, that's not a good idea. That's a terrible idea. And wokeness is like, I mean, he's probably going to faint laughing later. I was, when I read it again, I thought it was at first satirical. I figured that, okay, right-wingers have made up this story, but this is Tim Walz's official account. This is his official friggin' account. I thought it was a joke. And I'm like, okay, the Democrats have made a series of blunders over the last few months, namely running Kamala Harris. But they can't be that stupid. It's impossible. They're beginning to resemble Republicans. Okay, you're pro-war, you're pro-big government, you're pro-corporate, kickbacks basically at this point. Even like the old guard far left, like the Bernie Sanders of the party, they must be shaking their heads right now. Oh, what are you doing? Putting this kid there. It makes no sense. He doesn't understand anything about political strategy. Okay, he's capable of organizing small-scale street protests. He's capable of at least, he's young enough so that he's not demented. I suppose that's probably the main qualification of all. Otherwise, he is only known for using the blood of his classmates to get attention and make money. Okay, well, then he'd be a perfect DNC co-chair. Yeah, absolutely. He'd be representative of the Democratic Party. Stupid, self-serving, enormously egotistical, completely unqualified. We see, Gavin Newsom falls into that category at this moment as well. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. From any strategic standpoint, the only person that gains from the situation is David Hogg. If you put him in there, it's going to be a goddamn laughingstock. Probably gets kicked out in a few years, probably anyway. And if you bounce him, then you anger the far left. Where the hell is the political strategy here? I'm just not understanding it. So yeah, the Democrats are optioning the possibility David Hogg himself might actually become DNC vice chair. You might as well use Jared Holt or something like that. There are people that are actually qualified for the friggin' position. It may not be the ones that you necessarily like. And by the way, again, Tim Walz endorsement, meaningful-ish, kind of, sort of. I have a feeling the neoliberals will block it. That's the wise thing to do. They suffer either way. They either have a vice chair on the DNC that clearly doesn't know shit from Shinola, or they end up angering the far left. Things to come, I have a feeling, over the next few years. We'll see if the Republicans can score a victory off of this, or, as usual, once they get the ball, they fumble it. About all. Peace out.